Something worth dreaming about. They will not regard this as our recession. They will regard this as our redefinition. In between the layered tranches of winners and losers, cycles and soothsayers, players of a game who were caught in an entropy that even economists could not predict, no one unscathed in the aftermath of black swans crossing, looking to the skies and asking to understand how the imperfections of man could lead to so many feeling cast aside, as we appear to casket ride down a hole in which we must ironically go deeper to find some semblance of a bright light. The shock of a failing system causes everyone to listen. Synchronized, we sink our eyes to capture a collective moment in the state of this nation. Hope, we do not just entrust to one man, but we let one man be a reminder that is the hope that we must cultivate amongst ourselves. The revisions that we must make as each decision somehow pulsates with this certain sense of historical significance. It's as if we're inking our existence into textbooks that will later be doodled on by high school students of 2030 during a class in which their teacher will proclaim, "This was not our recession, this was our redefinition." A perpetual balancing act. As interest rates drop, our rate of interest in one another must rise, going back to the basics, back to our communities, back to a common unity in times defined not by what we do, but by who we claim to be, but by what we do. Times defined not by what we leave this earth, but how we leave this earth. How we lift the hands to push the dials on these watches to rotate on an axis that spins like marbles on playgrounds where kids are taught that they have the whole world in their hand. Times defined by being both strong and wise, and fashioning a generation that learns to think in we and us, not I and them. Something worth dreaming about. And on some days, it still feels more like a dream than reality. On that precipice in Nepal, my second summer search trip 9 years ago, a 17-year-old gazing up at a mountaintop, and I promise this is not a story about burning bushes or celestial meetings, but if you ever want to feel something special, I recommend climbing to a mountaintop. There is more than fate that gets you to 19,000 feet as a teenager. 19,000 feet becomes a compilation of struggle and self-doubt, of working through pain for progress, of dreaming in motion, of small continual successes that elevate your soul and lift your gaze to lighten your step. 19,000 feet is about shedding all the external context and rearranging the raw internal elements of your soul's anatomy to gradually provide a picture of an identity that you can claim as yours. 19,000 feet is an experience that is a catalyst for change. Strength and intelligence amalgamated. Gratefulness that you are blessed with a heart that beats, a mind that thinks, and that a soul whose wings have been broken by the past can once again extend into full-blown flight. 19,000 feet is replaying memories 8,000 times with the right foot and 8,000 times with the left. 19,000 feet is a place you will go for the rest of your life to remind yourself that you believe anything is possible, but you don't get to 19,000 feet by yourself. It happens because someone cared. Because Summer Search cared and realized that no one is unchanged by 19,000 feet, and therefore the world will now be changed by those who have been transformed. But 19,000 feet felt so far away when 2 years before, as a 15-year-old, I was stuck at sea level with my head barely above water. Silently begging foreclosure, I was facing foreclosure after collecting a debt of self-doubt accumulated through years of giving, sleepless nights, taking care of a terminal father, a fragile mother, and a baby brother. From the first Summer Search interview, my story kept getting stuck in my throat, to the weekly phone calls that became the candid compositions of broken mirrors whose pieces I had to pick up time and again so I could mend them into multiple revisions of honest self-reflection. It was this community that brought me through and transformed a basic visceral reaction to look up at a mountaintop and not shrink back, but to look up at a mountaintop and want to climb further. It is this community here that continues to make that possible. When I see Summer Search alumni, I ask, how was your mountaintop? We don't have to speak. We know. The transformation, the struggle, the beauty, the realization that 19,000 feet doesn't happen alone, and we don't have to go through this world alone, and we can't let anyone go through this world alone. So now, as a country, we stand, a congregation of communities on another precipice, gazing at our uphill climb, and somehow this all feels so familiar. I know that line of vision. I felt those crags and verticals, and I can anticipate the struggle, but I still sense that it is the journey that will bring out the best in us, and that they will remember this time not as our recession, but as our redefinition, and how we stood up and built something worth dreaming about. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Bob, friend.